someone I've known for a while, and I have the privilege of being the person that's going to introduce him this morning. He has been, I think my pastor was saying something about the fact that he's our global financial advisor somehow this morning. But Ope Folurunsho, all the way from the Liberty Church. But I want to quickly read out his profile this morning. Okpayemi is a business and financial consultant that is offering expert advice in areas of business development, financial market strategy, and consumer and SME credits. He is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and an accredited small business consultant with 18 plus years of banking and finance experience. He is a conference speaker who leverages his proven research and analytical skills to help his listeners profile practical solutions to business and economic challenges. He is very passionate about helping others maximize their potential and achieve sustainable productivity. Global Harvest Church Agodi, welcome with me this morning, Brother Ope Folurunsho.
Good morning, church. Okay, that's it. So, good morning, church. Thank you very much for having me. Please, can I have my slides? Okay, while they are trying to put up the slides, okay, let me do a quick intro of what I'm here to okay, good. What I'm here to speak about this morning. Essentially, at the end of my presentation this morning, the major takeaway for the church will be to essentially position ourselves for growth, sustainability, wealth creation, even at the time that we are. You know, it's so pertinent for me to speak about this topic because of course, there are a lot of things going on in Nigeria that we are all aware of. We don't need to talk too much or flog those issues over and over and again. But it pains me sometimes when I listen to conversation of people and I discover that we seem to be missing the point. And then one critical thing we need to understand as a people, generally, that life itself is cyclical. Economy, business, everything is cyclical. You know, sometimes it's almost predictable. Growth is sometimes it's predictable that if you grow for a certain number of years, there will always be a time that it seems to come down. But what people miss is that in life, if you remember the story of Egypt, 7 years of abundance, 7 years of famine, it's almost like a cycle. But what you notice, like you look at some people's life and it looks as if they are always cruising. It's not always like that. Even the big names that we know, they are not, there is nobody that is always cruising up. What people do is that when there is plenty, they prepare for the downturn. So when there is a downturn, people on the outside, people don't see. You know, what we are going through as a nation today it's normal. But unfortunately for us, we did not prepare for it. That's just the problem. But the fact I'm trying to put across to everybody is that we will soon get over it, and we're going to be in the upward trajectory again. It's just a matter of time. And I feel that the time is very close. And I want to show us some of the things that will make us position ourselves and also believe that the tough time will soon be over. In fact, as a matter of fact, people will say we should prepare for the worst, we prepare for the worst. I practically, based on what I'm saying, I don't think we will spend more than a year in these states again. Personally, that's my belief, you know, so I don't think we'll spend more than a year. And I will show you some of the reasons why I think it's going to happen. Can you give me the next slides? Okay, good. I will start my presentation this morning by, first of all, looking at a scripture. And I like this scripture so much because it gives me, it's a strategic scripture for me. It teaches me a lot of things about strategic positioning, you know, and that's why I so much love this scripture. I quote it everywhere. I say it every day. Now, if we can go through the scripture together. No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. But God is faithful, or will allow you not to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will always make a way. We always make a way of escape that you may be able to bear it. And the emphasis in this scripture is the way of escape. And what I want you to understand about the way of escape is that in every situation, there are several possibilities loaded in it. The problem we have as humans is that our consciousness can only see maybe one or two per time. The way of escape that God is talking about here is already created. So, which means that for everything that happens, there are other possibilities, there are a lot of flip sides to it. It is the one that we are conscious of that we see. So the ways of escape that God is talking about, and this thing is just a principle of life. Everything that happens to you, either good or bad, we always define things good, bad, ugly, or whatever way you want to decline it. Whatever happens to you, if you call it good, there is a bad in it. It's just that the reality of today is the good that is you are saying consciously. So what I'm trying to say is that there are different possibilities to things. So when things seem to be down, other possibilities are there. It's just that we cannot see. So the major focus for us is that so that in every situation we can see different possibilities to it. When there is a downturn, there is a different possibility, which could be positive. So what I'm saying in essence is that we are not praying that God should take things away. We are just praying for the other possibility that is inherent in it to emerge or for us to see it. So what I'm going to attempt to do today is to also see some other possibility in these tough times. Perhaps that can change our prayer points. And perhaps that can change our mindset. And perhaps that can change our focus. Because sometimes the things are there. It's just that because of our consciousness is locked in one direction, we don't see other possibilities. So then I would want to show us a few things before we take questions. Please, can you give me the next slide? Next slide. I don't think you need to zoom it. Just leave it the way it is. I can see it. I don't know, maybe I'll zoom in I can. Okay, so if you look at economic challenges for now, if you look at the Nigeria economy for now, there are three major problems that we have now. The removal of subsidy, which everybody is talking about. We used 3 months thereabout, or 100 days thereabout ago, we used to buy 1 liter of fuel for 196. But today, we buy as high as 600. That's almost like 3 times. And the major issue for me, and I tell people, the major issue is not that the price of the major is not the fact that the subsidy was removed. I don't think that is the major problem. The major problem is I cannot catch up with the reality of today. So for me, I see it more as a problem of catching up. Because if you analyze this subsidy removal thing very well, you know that this thing was supposed to have been removed a long time ago. So that we are doing it now is like we are just coming to the reality of our current tech. We are just coming to the reality of who we are or how we should drive our economy. We attempted to do this in about 13 years ago, 11 years ago, which if we had done it that time, or we have done it in phases that time, we would have forgotten about it now. We would have forgotten about it, but unfortunately we didn't do it, but thank God we have done it, and we are not going to go back on it. We are most likely not, in fact, we are not going to go back on it. That's my belief. I pray that we should not go back on it. That's my prayer. So now, it's a big issue, and it's a big issue because it's coming suddenly. We didn't prepare for it. Most of us, our income cannot catch up with what is happening. Then another thing that also happened simultaneously is that we flooded our naira, which of course, before now, the official market was barely 470 naira, maybe black market 600 or 700 thereabout. Now the official market is about 770 naira, where in the black market is about 950 naira. Though the Minister of Finance, the CBN governor, is saying that the price that we see in the parallel market is not a reflection of the true price of dollar to naira, that by their own simulation is going to be around 700, 750 or thereabout. Whatever direction it settles on. The truth of the matter is it has gone up. And I've studied exchange rate of Nigeria over a long period of time. I have discovered that once it's moved, it doesn't come down again. Once it moves significantly like that over an extended period, it doesn't come back to it. So I have asked myself, exchange rate of naira to dollar for now is going to be, even if it settles, it's going to settle around 700. If it settles around 700, it is still very high. So what should we be doing? So I have come to realize that sometimes we don't need to worry about all these movements, all these prices of things and, Say, for instance, now, if somebody travels abroad and work for a particular company abroad and earn $3,000 per month, it's a big money. So $3,000 monthly for an American, you are below average because about 1,500 will go on your monthly, bills. So you are left with 1,500. So 1,500, you are not a big boy. You are below average actually. Spending 30. So by the time you convert it to naira, it looks as if you are a big boy. So now $3,000 because suddenly becomes something close to 3 million naira. So if somebody has 3 million naira in Nigeria today, you look like a big boy. God help you. You are sending your children to school abroad. You then know that 3 million every month is not actually big because by the time you convert the 3 million naira to dollar, you can barely pay the school fees of the child. So what actually happens is that we are not trying to essentially change some of these indices. We are trying to work on some things that are within our control. And what is essentially within our control is we can grow our income. That is my belief. I believe that we can grow our income. So if I really don't think that the prices of things will significantly go down. But what I see is that we will build ourselves such that we will develop ourselves or we grow such that we will be able to stay by even at the current rate. That is what I see, because if prices of petrol has tripled in 3 months and it's not likely to go down, anyway, in fact, it's likely to go up. In fact, we are praying for it to go up, and I will tell you why. Because we are praying that the price of crude in the international market should go up, which is also already happening, which is good for Nigeria because we are exporter of crude. So which means more money into our reserve. And the implication of that is that if the price of crude oil goes up, then the price of refined will also go up because we are no longer subsidizing it. So what that means essentially is that now we have subjected the price of refined petroleum products to the forces of market demand and supply. So if the price of crude internationally, something happens somewhere in, whatever, and the price of crude, I think it's about $90 per barrel now, goes up to $150 per barrel. Big thing for Nigeria because we earn more. Our reserve will go, more income for the federal government. But by extension, the implication of that is this 600 naira per liter that we are saying will not happen again. It will probably move to 700, 800. So it is our joy for it to be going the way it is. But the most important thing is that as this thing is moving, are we also growing? And that is what we are supposed to focus on. Then inflation rate is now 24%. I don't want to dwell so much about it. Some people believe that it even should be more than 24%. But the basket, I don't want to explain that. The basket of goods that they use for it, somebody said they should need to revise it. Well, by the time they revise it, it's 24% for now. So, which is quite high. Then look at unemployment rate. Recently, they changed the methodology for the calculation of the unemployment rate of Nigeria, which used to be 33%, I think some years back. Now they say it's 4.1%. The reason why it's 4.1% is because they changed the methodology. Now, according to this methodology, although they say it is an international labor organization, what do they call it now? Parameter for measuring employment. What they calculate as unemployment now is if you cannot work for 1 hour in a week. That is when you can call yourself unemployed. And we know that if you work 1 hour in Nigeria, 1 hour in a week in Nigeria, you cannot call yourself an employed person. But the truth of the matter, the argument now is that there are some people that can do 1 hour work in a week and they'll be fine for the month. There are consultants that can give you expert advice and you can pay them 2 million naira for their opinion on something. People get 5 million naira, 10 million naira. So now they now said that why should we be considering the negative side of it and not the positive side? So they decided to look at this. But now another parameter they also bring on board is now employed poor. So some people can be employed and be poor. So what we now have is that we now have employed poor people. Don't let me dwell so much on that. Let's flip to the other side so that I can drive home my point in good time. Okay. So I brought this chart so that we can possibly change our mind. We can look at the economy and know that it's not all a tale of woes. Now, do you believe that as bad as this economy, let me tell you something about this is a snapshot of the capital markets of Nigeria. The first part, that's NXASI, that is Nigeria Stock Exchange All Share Index, reflects the performance of the capital markets of Nigeria. Let me tell you one major thing that drives the performance of the capital market. It's expectation. What do I mean by expectation? If the investors in that economy, both local and foreign investors, believe that the economy is doing well and is going to do well in the nearest future, they pump money into the market and they drive prices in the market. So if you look at the Nigeria Stock Exchange since the beginning of the year, this chart shows three major, the stock exchange, which is a reflection of the total market. Then I'm showing you the picture for JITCO, that is Guarantee Trust Bank Holding. I'm showing the picture for Transcorp, Tony's company. Please, can you leave it the way it was? Better. Okay. So then I'm showing you Dangote Sugar, and that's something I want to bring up. Let me start from the Nigeria Stock Exchange All Share Index. Since the beginning of this year, if you look at this thing, this market has grown by a whopping 34% this year. So which means that we are saying, oh, everything is bad. It is tough. So what that tells you about our economy, this is Nigeria stock market is on all-time high. What I mean by all-time high, the index has never been this high ever. The highest we had was about 15 years ago, 15 years ago, in 2008. What we have now has surpassed the figure for 2008. So which means that the expectation of investors in Nigeria capital market, which is a fair reflection of the rate at which people are willing to invest in the economy, is showing that the expectation is high. It's showing that there is hope. But you see a lot of people who feel that there is this country is bad, everything is bad. But I'm coming here to show you with figures, not with faith essentially. I'm not even talking faith now. I'm not talking faith at all. I'm talking about scientifically proven evidences that you can say, you can prove. Tomorrow you can go and check it. Now, which means that the expectation of investors, both local and foreign, the only thing we are expecting in Nigeria now is for the foreign investors to start to come in. The president of Nigeria was in India. Is he back? I think he's still there. He's in India. I wrote a report yesterday that he was able to get $14 billion worth of investment promises from the guys in. And I think that those are the right things they should be doing. Now, if you look at this figure, it shows that there is hope. It shows that there are people, I call them investors. There are people who believe that Nigeria economy in the nearest future is going to do well. And this is what figure is telling you. Look at where it was in January. If you look at this figure, you discover that it's a spike in May. The spike in May was after the handing over, was after the declaration that people called evil declaration. That subsidy is removed, subsidy is gone, that they shouldn't have done it. You can see a spike, which means that the people watching our economy believe that this was the right decision, even if you don't agree. And the market is responding in that direction. Look at down there, look at Transcorp. Transcorp has grown by 526% this year. I know somebody that is close to me that I know very well that bought Transcorp at 1 naira 20 kobo this year. 1 naira 20 kobo. When the figure was 1 naira today, at a particular time, Transcorp was 7 naira. So which means that if you invested 1 million naira in Transcorp, you will have, by now, you have something like 7 million naira. This year. You can see May, you can see the leap. And you can see another aggressive leap somewhere. The aggressive leap was when Tony Elumelu decided to buy Abuja Disco. And people believe that there is something is going to happen in power sector. And still, so people believe in the market. And these are people that are seeing the positivity in what is happening, while others are saying the negative side of it. I'm not saying it's not difficult. It's very difficult. But we need to start to see differently. Look at JITCO. This is a bank, and virtually all the major banks are also performing in this direction. They just picked up JITCO, which has grown by 70% this year. Look at Dangote Sugar. Dangote Sugar grown by 336% this year alone. You can see all of them jumping from May. So which means that the economy, there is a potential in Nigeria. The only prayer we need to pray is that for this thing not to be protracted, for this thing not to be truncated, for this thing, you see, a lot of times we talk about the politicians. We cannot, all across the globe, and we can check, all politicians are liars. They lie. It's just that lie get level. Even the US, they lie. They manage things. They do funny things, you know. So it's just that, you know, we like to talk about the negative side of Nigeria than the positive side. Politicians abroad, they lie. They have scandals too. UK, look at all the prime ministers. So give me the next slide. So we cannot put so much of our trust in them because we think that they will not. I think Nigeria has gotten to a point where even the politicians have come to realize that they must do something. That is my belief. And okay, in trying to round up, I would like to talk specifically about something which is very, very important. You know, when it comes to strategy for anything, strategy are usually divided into two broad categories. We have what we call defensive strategy for people who love football. We have defensive strategy. Even in business, we have what we call defensive strategy. Then we have what we call offensive strategies. We have defensive players, then we have offensive players. You know, in the game of football, for instance, if you deploy only defensive strategy, you will not win. And if you will not score goals. It may be difficult for the opponents to score against you, but you will also not score. But that is what they call you park the bus for people who love football. You park the bus, you don't attack, and they may not score against you, but the probability that you will score will also be very low. At the end of the day, you go for a draw. We are not in this world to go for a draw. We are in this world to win. Then if you deploy offensive strategy, you will be scoring goals and you will be losing too. You will score, they will score against you. You will score, they will score against you. At the end of the day, you might lose or you also settle for draw. But the truth of life is that in every situation we find ourselves, we must deploy the two strategies. And what I've come to realize in Nigeria, or currently, is that people are deploying too much of these defensive strategies. That is what most people are talking about. Cut costs. Hey, times are hard, though. You have been hitting 3 times in a day. Hit 1 time in a day. I don't have a problem with that. But that is not all there is to winning this game. So I will talk about some of the defensive strategies that we need to deploy, and I will talk about some of the offensive strategies that we need to deploy in this same time, because people just forget about this is not the time to do this. I was trying to look at my expenses recently, and I was trying to see if there are ways where I can cut costs and everything. And I started changing this. Now I will not do this again. I will not do this. I will not do this. And I got to a point, and I discovered that I started cutting giving. I started cutting charity. I started cutting things that people will come to you and say, please, can you help me? and you close your eyes to it, and and I have come to realize that when you start to cut charity, it can't be God. When you start to cut giving, it can't be God. Because we are blessed to be a blessing. So when you start cutting the blessing that you're supposed to give to people, I'm not talking about waste now. So it can't be God. So I knew at that point that my problem is not defensive strategy alone. It's in this economy how to push myself forward. So my target now is how am I going to double my income will not even solve my problem. In case you are planning to double your income, it will not solve your problem. This economy that we are, you have to triple your income. The income that you had in January, just multiply it by 3. That is your goal. Minimum to thrive. If you still continue to thrive, the current income, I repeat, that you had as December 31st, multiply it by 3. That is what you should go for. I have my own written down. Some people, it's even going down. Some people, it has come down. If it has come down, so put it in front of you. I know that the economy, the way it's going, because I can assure you, the price before the end of this year, the price of petroleum product will go up. Because the prices of crude globally is going up. And the best that the government will do is to put more palliative, which will not solve the problem. The best they will do is to increase salary, which will not solve the problem. Labour is saying that minimum wage should go to 200. They will not get it. The best they will get is 100% increase, which is still a far cry from where we are. Presently, the minimum wage is 30. They will probably get 60. I am foreseeing 50 at the end of the day. Then it goes across. So if they give them 60, that is 100% increase. It looks like a big deal. It is not a big deal. We all know that it will not solve. It will only buy a bag of rice. So we know it will not solve the problem. So which means that our approach to labor, I have a lot to say, but because of time I have to cut it. Which means that our approach to labor must change. You cannot be doing one job. People in developed nations, they don't do one job. They don't. Except the kind of job that you are doing is you cannot be doing one job now. You cannot. You cannot close by 4 and close for the day. You cannot now. It's not possible. It's not possible again. If you have been doing it, you cannot be a full-time housewife again now. You cannot. You cannot be a graduate and still be sitting down at home now at 21. This labor statistic that I show you, employment age globally starts from the age of 15. Go abroad. When they are on holiday, they go for vacation jobs. You go see them in supermarkets. You put it on. People that are doing it in Nigeria. People go to food court. My wife told me that one day she saw some secondary school boys, maybe college boys, doing IT. Their parents brought them so that they know how to work. So if on holiday, if your child is 15, it is no longer child labor according to global economy. Find your friend, teach them to work. We don't work enough in Nigeria. That is the truth. And the problem, the reason why we don't work enough is because we pay to pass time. We don't pay based on productivity. And that has to change, especially for SME. Stop paying people salary, flat salary like that now. Pay based on productivity. And renegotiate your employment. Tell them, please, this is how much, this is the level of delivery per day that I want you to do. Then the ones that are the laggards, let the laggard go home. So they save the salary you save from the laggards, put it on the productive one, so that they can work well. You come, people just come and clock. What is the meaning of that? You clock in the morning, then you clock in the morning, then you clock out in the morning, and that is the only thing you monitor. It is wrong. You cannot be monitoring clock. You monitor deliverables. If you are a fashion designer, you have people that you employ. How many pairs of trousers will you sew in a day? If you cannot do 10, or guy, you cannot work for me. Or based on 10, you will get this much. So there is nothing wrong with somebody sewing pairs of trousers. And at the end of the day, the person is going up, maybe at the end of the month, the person is going up with 500,000. It is possible. Because the 500,000 you are paying that person, you can see it. But we employ people to come and read newspaper till 10 o'clock. I mean, you expect people to come and do what is in the mind of the people is that I have come. Job is no longer I have come. In developed economies that we are looking at, it is not about you have come. When the employer has a security, you stand all through. Ask, Go and confirm. The employee as security in a restaurant, you stand all through. As a waiter, you stand all through. You must never sit down. This is where you go to a restaurant, the waiter is sitting down. That call you a waiter, you must wait. Wait on the person. So, people, so our approach to labor need to change. Because, and it has to change, because as a business person, your income must triple. It must. If you need to survive, it must. If you need to thrive, don't let's survive now. I'm not even talking about survival strategy now. I'm talking about thriving. So these are defensive strategies. Maybe I will leave this slide if you want to share so that I don't want time to go through it. Then the offensive strategy means that in this tough time, you need to start to strike. Like they play in football. You don't defend the low, you will not win. The best is draw. So you need to, as you are defending, you must be looking for loopholes and be attacking. This is the best time to attack. Because, do you know why? Because times are tough. People are selling things. I spoke with somebody recently who a lady wanted to jackpot, sold a whole shop to her. A whole shop with goods inside, with the brand. Sold it. I sold it to somebody that has been doing her own business online. When the opportunity came, the lady told me that, this thing, I must not lose it. She was looking for money that time. She said, I must not lose it because I have been selling online. And I know what it means for me to own this shop now. And the person has offered me. The person is relocated for whatever reason. In fact, the last time I spoke with the lady said she has bought it with the brand. She told me the volume that the person is selling. So there are opportunities. So this is the time to aggressively pursue new opportunity. This is the time to harness opportunities neglected by others. Because people are crying wolf everywhere. It is bad, it is bad, it is bad, it is bad, it is bad. As they are living, be taking the space. That is if you have made up your mind that you are not living. So if you have made up your mind to be in Nigeria, stop complaining. Please, I beg in the name of God. And if you have made up your mind to live quietly. Stop discouraging others. It is not nice. It is not nice to say you have decided to leave. Say this country is spoiled, man. This country is whack. This country is rubbish. Please stop saying it. Live quietly. If God has told you to live quietly. Safe journey. God bless you. If God has told you to stay with focus and don't discourage the people that are living. So take loan. Okay, take loan to make strategic investment. And people say this is not the time. If the investment is strategic, take loan, please. Next slide. While I try to run. Like I said earlier, the winning strategy is you must prayerfully organize combination of defensive and offensive strategies to win. Next slide. I think I've said so much of what the strategy is. This is the time to bring a strong portfolio investment. This is the time to renegotiate your deals because times are hard. People can essentially, so where you are paying high, you can always negotiate. Cash remains the king. Stop blowing your cash. I tell people, when you do a job, don't always be the last person. Don't always be the last person. While our joy is good, why must you be the last person? The implication of that, other people have used your money. So if you are your last time, you are last. What you are telling is that just help me save my money. I don't know how to use money. You see the people that know how to use money going for the first. If you were last, the time, be the first this time around. When they give you the money, you to invest. Look at stocks to buy. If you don't know where to put it, look for somebody who understands business, that is your friend, that is loyal to you. Give the money to that person and negotiate interest. For crying out loud. Don't always be the last. Cash remains the king. Make your business more efficient. This is the time to look at the efficiency of your business. A lot of things. So the way it is now, if your business is still surviving now, look at it and the way it was before now. You discover that some of the things that you were not doing again, they were not actually needed. They were fizzy. Like I tell people, the last screen in that's your beauty salon, what is the benefits? Women they don't usually watch football. Women, when they go to the hairdresser, they went there to go and gist, not to watch football. So what is the last screen doing there? So some of the things that we need the AC, maybe it's not even so important. Maybe the red rug, maybe it's not even so important anyway. So now, what this time has taught us is to remove some things. those things that we're removing, then reappraise the efficiency of those things so that when the growth time comes, you know how to spend wisely again, then learn from this season. Like I said, please learn. That's the most important thing. Learn from the season. I think I should stop there.
Let's appreciate Brother Ope this morning. He gladdens my heart so much this morning. And you know, this time is not really adequate enough for us to say whatever he has in stock for us. And what that means is that next Sunday, live service continues. I am praying, I don't want to look at his face, that next Sunday we will continue on this line, and a lot of us will be able to come with our questions so that we can interact adequately. Let's appreciate him one more time. Thank you. God bless you.